Hey, I'm here to talk to you about flipping in 2018, if you can believe that. I know you're probably thinking, like, what is this blonde with a plaid lumberjack shirt probably know about flipping houses? And the truth is, actually, a lot. I've been doing it since 2011, steady as a realtor, but also as a consultant realtor for my clients who flip houses regularly. And to be honest with you, if you ask me if I would ever do a video about my homework, which I'm about to show you, I think you're crazy because one, I'm camera shy, and two, I was pretty doubtful that I'd be doing any flips with any of my clients this year. But as it turns out, I actually have some pretty good news for the GTA and beyond. There are some opportunities for investors that I think are pretty exciting, pretty cool. I have tons of ideas, and they've proven to be very profitable for a number of people I've been working with for the last couple of months. So I thought I would share my knowledge a little bit, at least, give you a sense of what's going on and what you can take advantage of. Because whenever things are different, changing, there's always also opportunities. So I do about 20 flips a year with my clients confidently. Nobody has ever lost money. I've seen profits of over 300,000 on a single house with a single client. So I was pretty sad about things changing because that was my niche. That's what I do, and I'm pretty good at it. Mostly GTA West as well, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington. Anyway, what I'd like to share with you is some intel, some important ways in which you can start looking at the market, because you've got to look at people first if you want to know what's going on with the market. First of all, the rates are high. They are. It's no sugarcoating it. They are far too high for most ordinary young buyers to get into the market at this point. The stress test is incredible. But if you're working with mature people, like I am for the most part, they are still participating in renovating houses and selling them for profit. But they want to know how, and they want to be safe. So with some research over the last few months, I found a few awesome opportunities that I think you'd be lucky to know. First of all, if you're buying a detached house in the GTA, make sure you're buying it. You're looking for a $200,000 gap between your purchase price and your eventual selling price. And the eventual selling price has got to be in and around the dates following July 2017. Don't even look at February or March. Those numbers are inaccurate, and they're likely never coming back for a long time. Happens, markets go up over a very long period of time. We've had very cheap money in this country for a very long time, and it's time for the banks to get their money back. So how do we take advantage? Well, I found through my clients, who are all mostly trades, that it's actually not very expensive to remove an oil tank from an oil heated home. It's actually pretty affordable. And seeing as some of the budgets that I explained to my clients that they cannot exceed in order to make a decent profit, this budget is pretty remarkable, actually. What I learned was essentially, after calling the oil tank removal guys, mostly steel and scrap metal guys do it, that it will only cost you about $600-700 to remove a healthy oil tank from a basement. They make money on it. They make quite a bit because the steel is very expensive. So they'll remove it for almost free. And learning from my HVAC client, it will cost you around $6,000 to change the ducts for the entire house, and another, 4 to 10, depending on who you know and how you got it, furnace for the property to convert it to forced air. Now, what have I learned? Essentially, I've seen a few houses, nice big semis, older homes that were oil heated. that sold for ridiculous money, okay, $550, a townhouse freehold, just because it had oil and people are afraid of what to do with it. They don't know how it works. They're not comfortable with it. They want forced air and they want turnkey, no problem. Oil tanks are easy to remove. And so you have a house, for example, Lawrence West, northern Toronto, selling for $650, and it's in moving condition, but like, well maintained, nothing really added there besides maybe windows and roof replaced. And you need, and it has forced air. Those homes are selling for $699. Now that's a big gap, and that's a lot of money to be made essentially on a home that might have oil. It's easy to do, and you might not even have to renovate the house. Now, how cool is that? You literally just have to buy it, make sure that the oil tank's not leaking, it's not hazardous, that it's nice and safe to remove it, get your HVAC guy in there, get a new furnace, redo all the ducts, the air ducts, and rock and roll. Relist it for 100, 150,000 more if you bought it low. Of course, it's up to you and a good agent to negotiate that price low, and you can tell when you can negotiate. You see the days on market, you know that there's room. There's lots of room, and they want to see it go, because usually it's a power of sale or an estate sale or something like that. So that's a really cool little fact that I want to share with you. Oil tank homes, easy, not dangerous, can be left as is. Honestly, if you don't have the money to do it, just sit on it, raise the money, and then do it. The other thing that I found, actually, I was inspired by a few people that didn't even know that they were doing something incredible. 3-door homes. Now, that might sound weird or incomprehensible, but 3-door homes is what I mean, is essentially 3 separate living dwellings in one house. Now, that potential you'll find most often in a backsplit format, where you have a sub-basement, and that sub-basement has a patio door that can be locked. Well, of course, if it doesn't lock, you're going to replace that door into a locking door. And a lower basement that usually has a walkout. Now that's awesome, because you can just wall up the upper levels, let the main floor tenant live comfortably, have a nice home. Very often the top floor is renovated to yield up to $2,500 in a good area, average area even. You'll get that now in the GTA, Mississauga, Toronto, even as far as Burlington. You'll get those numbers on the main floor. And then on the lower floors, if it's pretty and renovated and well done, I ascribe a budget of approximately $100,000 for that, depending on the price. Like that, you need a niche realtor to tell you that, because you need that $200,000 gap if you're going to flip it. But if you're not going to flip it, then it's a beautiful turnkey property that's going to make you lots of money over the years. You can even call it a retirement plan. But what I love about these 3-door homes, because essentially you have one separate entrance from the outside, but you create 2 apartments on the inside with doors that lock. They have to have egress windows and follow the fire code. But essentially, we have a housing shortage in Toronto. So a lot of young people are more than willing to take a pretty basement apartment for a reasonable amount of money. Say that, let's say $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, and you've got yourself 2 tenants in the basement paying you upwards of $3,000. Awesome. 25 up, 100 upstairs, 3,000 downstairs. Now, most people, if they're mature, in Toronto nowadays, have up to $1 million in savings to buy this type of business house, because essentially it is a business. You're renting out a property. You're going to make rent. You're going to have to report those rents. You have to have business losses maintaining it. You might hire a property manager to lower those profits a little bit on paper. But essentially, it is something flippable. It is something that people will want, even in these uncertain times. because there are a lot of mature people that have their own homes, probably won't sell them, but they need some way to support themselves financially. And they're more than willing to spend $1 million to do that. More. I've sold semis this year with 3 separate dwellings, not even entirely legal separate dwellings, for 1.3 million. And that was like after the crash, like August. So that's my little tip. I will have many more, and I'll have more examples of certain things. I'll take you on the sites, show you what these homes look like. Hopefully it won't scare the crap out of you, but I'm happy to help. I've renovated 3 homes by myself with the help of trades, of course, but I know my pricing. I know how to make sure you make money, and I really care that you are successful, because for me, I've been living off repeat business doing this for 7 years now, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad that I found something that people can reasonably do, and there's a plan A and a plan B if you don't get the number that you want, which is essentially the most important part. To either make 5,000 to 6,000 in rent per month if you can't sell it because you did something I didn't tell you to do, or you can flip a nice property and make a nice sum upwards of $80,000 to $100,000 in a span of 5 to 6 months. If you're diligent, if you follow the timeline, if you respect the timeline, if you understand that time is money, you can do it. Or you can keep it because it's awesome and it's a retirement plan. Anyways, this is me, Malvina Filipkowska from Royal LePage Signature, signing off. Hope the information was helpful, and I look forward to reconnecting with you in 2018. Cheers.